it's been a labor of love for the past 5 years. Emphasis on the labor and emphasis on the love. I mean, it's one of the best things we've made, and it took a minute to put together.
Butterscotch Shenanigans.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 515 of Coffee with Butterscotch, the game dev comedy podcast of Butterscotch Shenanigans. I'm Seth, and I'm the games programmer.
I'm Adam, I'm the miscellaneous programmer.
I'm Sam, and I'm the artiste.
And this is a show where we talk about life, business, and working in the games industry. Today is Crashlands 2 launch day.
Yeah.
But technically, we're recording this a little bit earlier than that, but it's coming out on launch day because this is a little bonus episode that we wanted to do. Before we get any further, though, we have a little profanity warning. We may end up profaning. So, be ready for that. And we'd also like to thank our recurring supporters over at moneygrab.bscotch.net. Thank you so much for letting us grab your money to keep this podcast going. So this is just a little bonus episode that we wanted to do, a little shorty, to just kind of say hi to all of our new Crashlands 2 players and introduce ourselves and say welcome to the Bscotch community. Welcome to the podcast. Just welcome.
Yeah.
So
who are we? What is this all about? But also, if you're a regular listener, just casual reminder, please go get the game. Just go get it on. Go get it on all of the things. Crashlands 2 is out. It's out now. Go get it. But yeah, if you are new here, though, we want to talk about just a little intro. So we are a small independent studio. We've been at it since 2012, where we came back in like June of 2012. We came up with the name of our studio by thinking, what would, if you Googled it, where would we be the only thing that appears, right? Like, can we just go with a combination of words that if you Google it, nobody else has dibs on that phrase and probably never will. Yeah. Wouldn't even want dibs. Nobody would want to take it from us.
Yeah. Ideally something people can't even spell. That would be kind of the best case scenario. So we started by making small games. We made a game called Towel Fight 2, which we launched at the start of 2012, and a game called 2013. And a game called Quadrupus Rampage shortly after. So we started making sort of like smaller, more action-y kinds of mobile games. And this was kind of back when mobile was kind of still getting its legs a little bit. And so were we, obviously, because it was, we were kind of new to the game.
Oh yeah, we didn't know what we were doing. We were figuring this stuff out as we went.
Yeah. So at that time it was just Sam and myself. So I was doing the programming and Sam was doing the art and Adam was off getting his PhD in science or some crap like that.
Thing. As one does.
And so around like after we gotten Quadrupus Rampage out, then we shifted gears because of some health issues that Sam ran into.
Some cancer bullshit.
Sam had a late-stage cancer diagnosis, and that kind of slapped us in the face of like, we've been making these little games, like smaller games, and when you're confronted with your mortality, you're like, I mean, fuck. Can I do something that matters?
Yeah. So Crashlands came out of that back in 2016 then. The cancer went away, which is good. Correlated?
Yeah, Sam.
I don't know.
I think so. Yeah,
probably.
I mean, it is correlated.
That's true. It is correlated.
Crashlands is a healing franchise. It's not FDA approved yet,
but that doesn't matter anymore. So don't even worry about it.
Yeah. So I will say, Sam, you were definitely the driving force behind the original Crashlands of basically saying like, this is what I want to make. And so Adam graduated from his PhD program partway through original Crashlands development, and then he was like, I'm done with science.
PhDs are for babies. Let's make video games.
Yeah. So he joined the studio, and
it's a lot harder to make video games than to do a PhD. So just gonna throw that out there. Also, did you mention that we're all brothers? I can't remember if that came up.
We're brothers.
Yeah. We also grew up together for a couple decades before we started doing all this stuff.
Yep. Yeah, and people are always like, "Is it bad to work with family?" And it's like, well, I mean, we already like beat the shit out of each other a lot way back in the day, so we're done with that.
Get that out of your system.
Got it out of our systems.
Children are violent.
Incredibly.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Thinking back on some of the stuff that happened back then. But we get along great now. We're adults. We do not abuse each other in any way, and it's a pretty good. We got a good relationship.
Very healthy.
Actually grew up.
Got it out of our system. So we came together as a team of 3 for the launch of Crashlands. And that was our first game that really got attention and revenue in a big way. And so after the Crashlands launch in 2016, we kind of went into a transformational phase where it's like, okay, we actually have like the resources to hire people and do bigger things. And so we started working on that process of trying to grow the team. And we had a lot of kind of false starts there where like we had only been doing, we were a lot younger and we had only been doing this for a little while. And honestly, the way we solved most of our problems at that time was just straight up brute force.
Oh yeah, just throwing time at it. Every hour, every day, just throwing at these problems.
It's just being young and confident and not knowing enough about what not to do and just going for it, and so problem is like when you bring more people into that kind of an environment, they don't own the company. They haven't been there as long. They don't have the same kind of relationship to the work as you do. Right. But also there was a lot of struggle.
That just doesn't scale. You can't scale just being like,
you can't scale startup culture.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you want to be a sustainable company, a sustainable studio or business, then you need to figure out how to do things sustainably. For everybody.
You gotta have processes. Right? You gotta organize. You gotta do all that stuff. Yeah. So we figured that out over the course of
over a while.
Yeah, post Crashlands launch in 2016. And we did a bunch of cool stuff with Crashlands after that. We got it on the Switch. We got it on like every platform under the sun except for PlayStation, I think. Everything else though. And we got a Chinese version that went live in China with Tencent, which was pretty dope. And so we did a lot of really cool stuff with Crashlands in that really chaotic period of trying to figure out how to make a new game. And then we tried to make, I think, 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, couple good
solid.
Like
we had a few. Yeah, we started a few projects, but again, we were kind of hamstrung by our inexperience in like managing a team and delegating and having good processes and all that. And so eventually we got our shit together and started our next legit game in earnest, which was a game called Levelhead, which was a platformer maker. So we saw that like Mario Maker had this big community, even though it was on the Wii U.
And only
at the time, there was no announcement from Nintendo about any plans for a follow up
until a year into dev, baby.
Yeah,
so we went early.
So we basically raced Nintendo to launch our game into early access before they launched Mario Maker. Kind of to no avail.
Did not win that race very effectively.
Pro tip: don't challenge Nintendo to a video game duel. It's just not.
That might be one that you could like surmise from the outside, but again, young and dumb.
Well, also like we didn't think that's what we were doing.
That's true. We were trying to be Mario Maker on every other platform. It seemed like that was a really good move, and platforms are great. Yeah. So we got some good deals and stuff, and thank God, because otherwise the studio would have imploded afterwards.
Yeah, because this was around the time that like different subscription services were popping up, like Google Play Pass and
Game Pass,
Apple Arcade, Xbox Game Pass. So we got into a couple of those things, and those deals helped us, remain financially solvent through releasing the game, even though the game didn't really get the traction that we feel it deserved, because I still say great game.
It's great really game. Good. Well, and we still have a thriving, small, but thriving, very cool community doing just, frankly, amazing stuff in that game. So if you're into that kind of thing.
It's got 96% positive on Steam, I mean, it's like, the way we always kind of try to think about it is like, we nailed that game.
Yeah.
It just so happened that not as many people wanted that type of game as we thought. But I feel like we solved all of the kinds of like complaints and problems that a game like Mario Maker had. And we really we spent a lot of time going through that community and like reading the stuff that they didn't like about Mario Maker. And we made sure that we solved all those problems, and we did. And so the people who do play Levelhead fucking love it, and they're still playing it to this day. It's been 5 years.
Yeah, and doing cool stuff.
Doing very cool stuff with it. So after Levelhead, then we were kind of looking around and we're like, okay, that sucked because we made something so cool and it just didn't go, right? And what do we do next? And at that time, we had a much bigger team, and we had quite a bit more experience than we had with the original.
And by much bigger, you mean 6 people, just
6, twice as big.
That's twice as big.
That's big,
but still a very small team.
And we had, we had QA testers, and we had learned how to translate the game into lots of languages. Because like Levelhead was also a big technical challenge where we put it into 12 languages on six
platforms.
Different stores, 6 different platforms.
I think there were 7
and we did a
builds.
simultaneous launch.
I think there were 7 distinct builds that had to be made and go out.
And so learning how to manage all of that through through DevOps and getting all of our processes short up so that we could handle a game of that scale kind of gave us the confidence to take a step back and be like, okay, can we make a follow-up to Crashlands? Because Crashlands did great. It had a thriving player base. Even to that day, it was still making plenty of money.
Keeping the studio alive, basically.
Yep. Still making sales. And so we're like, all right, well, we got to give the people what they want, you know? And so we started working on Crashlands 2 in earnest, kind of like in the middle of 2020, at the start of the global pandemic. And then it was just an infinite series of interesting problems. We did some experiments with multiplayer, which was very hard to reconcile against a story-based action RPG. So we kind of scrapped that. Lots of experimentation with visual styles and also we did a lot of work to make it so that we could scale up the team so that we could put way more content and much more depth and stuff into Crashlands 2. So for the first time in Crashlands 2, we brought in somebody whose sole job is narrative, just telling stories, and brought in extra art power, and expanded our QA team, and just tons and tons of stuff for Crashlands 2. So I mean it's been a labor of love for the past 5 years. Emphasis on the labor and emphasis on the love. I mean it's one of the best things we've made, and it took a minute to put together.
So I think if you're new to the podcast, you're new to the studio. What's interesting is we've been doing this podcast every week, literally like every week since I think 2013.
For 10 years.
Yeah. So you can sort of just like time hop if you want. You can see how dumb we were, back in the day. You could check out stuff around certain launches or whatever else, just by scrubbing through the 500 episodes that are already there.
Well, I mean, when we started, Sam was still in the midst of his cancer treatments, and I mean, it's been a journey. It's been really interesting doing this podcast because of the kind of archival nature of it. Like every now and then something happens in the world and we're like, this isn't really related to games in a direct way, but at the same time, we do want to at least talk about it so that we kind of have like a pin in that, so that when we go back and listen, we'll be like, oh yeah, that was happening at that time.
Yeah, so it's a very strange kind of historical lock for our studio. All the stuff we've gone through, and all the dev journeys we've been on so far, including the last couple episodes in particular. If you're coming from Crashlands 2, are largely just focused on answering questions about Crashlands. So if you want some more of the behind the scenes dev stuff, you can just pop back an episode and enjoy some of those.
Yep. And if you want to get really behind the scenes, like you're saying, this whole podcast is just it's just a devlog of the whole thing. So if you want to know every little thing about what it meant to make Crashlands 2, you got to go back to the first episode of the podcast from 2013 or 14 or something, 15, whatever.
But if you just want to hear about Crashlands 2, you got about 200 episodes worth of
deep
stuff.
It's real deep. So you can hop around there. And then otherwise we've got a rad community in the Discord. So that's the place to go to hang out with people. And we pop in and we chat too, now and then. So you can try to catch us in there and just see what everybody else is up to, learn about other games, see the wild shit that the Levelhead community is doing. Even if you're not into that game, you can appreciate the wild shit.
Go take a look at this.
Yeah.
Those people are crazy. So, I mean, we just want to thank you if you picked up Crashlands 2, thank you so much for supporting what we've been working on so hard for the past 5 years. We hope you all get involved in the community and stay in touch for whatever it is that we got coming up next. One of the things that we're going to try to be doing going forward a little bit, which we've talked about internally, is like when we worked on Crashlands 2, it was a 5-year project, and we were pretty tight-lipped about a lot of it for most of the time, which does make development a little bit more lonely. Like not talking about this big thing that you're working on for so long is pretty tough. And so
We're hoping to
whatever we do next,
stuff in the open.
Yeah, whatever we do next, we're going to try to be a little bit more public about it. So we'll try to have a little bit more like.
So we got a newsletter, we got a blog, we got there's all kinds of ways you can kind of keep on top of what we're up to. But really, the podcast is the main thing because it's just literally every week we just sit down and shoot the shit about what we're currently up to, and it's also goes up on YouTube as well. So if you prefer to get your stuff that way, then you can also check it out on YouTube.
Yeah. So I think we'll just wrap it there because we just wanted this to be a little welcome episode to all of our new listeners, and of course a reminder to our existing listeners: go buy Crashlands 2.
Go do it,
and please review.
Go have fun.
Please do it.
Review it. Give it the old thumbs up.
Yeah, so helpful for us
on every platform. So thanks everybody for listening, and we hope to see you all around in the community. And we'd like to thank our producers, Fat Bard and Sampa DaCosta, for putting the podcast together. Thanks to our community moderators who keep our Discord running. And if you want to get more involved in the community, you can just go to podcast.bscotch.net. We've got links to everything there. Adam was talking about Discord, archives. We got a button for you to donate to even support the podcast if you're interested in that. And otherwise, just links to everything. So thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.